Remember the European Super League? Well, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it's gone away, but the thing is, it hasn't. There are still three clubs, Juventus, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, who are still very much involved in the project and think that it can go ahead. 12 of Europe's biggest and richest clubs were set to come together and create what was essentially a Premier League. Obviously, it didn't go down well with fans. It didn't go down well with the people in charge of the leagues that those clubs were set to come from. The idea was pretty much nixed, but as I said, Juventus, Real Madrid and Barcelona, they still seem to think that it's going to go ahead. So in honour of those three crazy bastards, I decided to make a FIFA 22 European Super League with 20 of the biggest and best clubs from across Europe. I didn't necessarily go for the richest, I just went for the highest rated teams. You may not agree with a couple of them. There were some close calls that I had to make, especially in Spain and Portugal. But I'm just going to see how this goes. I've had to take control of Ajax, because I had to take control of a team. Obviously, that means that in this first transfer window, I'm not going to spend any money. All the other clubs are going to spend, but I don't think that would affect Ajax too much. No offence to Ajax, they're a great team, but I can't imagine they would have had the money to bring in any of the big hitters. No Kylian Mbappe's, no Neymar's, no Haaland, nothing like that. So I don't think the money would have been too big of a deal for them. As you can see, pretty much every team, as I go through the transfer window, they spent big, but they also sold pretty big. There were only a few teams that didn't really sell anybody. Most teams brought in big name players as well, and some surprising ones like Inter Milan bringing in Saint Maxim from Newcastle. I did very nearly put Newcastle into this, obviously because of their financial situation that's happened in the last few months, but it just felt a bit weird putting them in against all of these European big hitters. Maybe in a couple of years' time, it would make more sense to put them in here. PSG spent, I believe, the most money, as you would expect. Man City were also one of the biggest spenders. Most teams were pretty sensible, though. They spent quite a bit of money, but they also sold a lot of players to balance the books out. So, overall, what you would probably expect from a transfer window like this. Declan Rice being the top deal from West Ham to Man City for just shy of 70 million, which seems probably about what he would go for in real life. So, let's crack on, let's get through the actual season. I'm going to simulate all the way up until the end of December, have a look at the 1st January transfer window, and see where we stand, see how the league table is looking after the first 4 months of the season. I've got my fingers crossed for Ajax, even though I'm not really playing as them. I like to think they're going to do pretty well. They're a handy little team. So let's have a look at the first league table in December at the end, halfway through the season. Napoli and Sporting and Sevilla are holding the relegation spots. That is surprising. Arsenal, not too shocked. Juventus, Leipzig, Milan, Atletico, Inter, Chelsea, Barca, Ajax. Plucky little Ajax in 9th. Dortmund, Spurs, Liverpool, and top of the league you've got Munich, Madrid and Man City. So back to the calendar. Let's get simulating all the way to the end. I'm going to go to the end of January. I went to the end of January, but for some reason it wasn't showing me the transfers, so I don't know how they did in January. I don't think there were any big moves. Let's simulate again all the way to the end of the season and see how things played out. Ajax seem to be getting a few decent little results in here. Some good wins over the likes of Madrid and Liverpool and Munich. So I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to go well for them. Let's look at the final table. Oh, Sevilla, Sporting and Napoli all relegated, but only within a few points of each other. It was very close for Napoli. Arsenal survived by the skin of their teeth. And they lost on final day, it looks like, as well. Inter Milan, Milan and Juventus all proper. Oh dear. Not a good result, not a good showing for the Italian teams at all. Chelsea, Ajax, lovely. Almost mid-table, only a few points away. Very good result for Ajax there. Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, bang on mid-table. Only a couple of points within it for all of these teams. Manchester United in 9th, Munich in 8th, Leipzig in 7th, Madrid in 6th. Spurs, really respectable, 5th. Dortmund, Liverpool, PSG and Man City won the first ever European Super League, as I think most people would probably expect them to do. And by 5 points as well. So let's have a look at who won the cups, even though these wouldn't really have happened. PSG beat Man City in the FA Cup final. Let's have a look at the Carabao Cup. That was Bayern Munich going over Atletico Madrid 2-1. Very nice. Chelsea won the UEFA Super Cup 4-0. Smashed Villarreal there. Champions League final. Liverpool beating Atalanta 3-0. Nice and easy for them. The Europa League was won at Leverkusen. Spurs won the Europa Conference League. Let's look at the top scorers. Raheem Sterling on 21 goals. Just a few ahead of Neymar. Bergwijn, Hala, Martinez, Mbappe all the way down on 16. Not the players that you would expect to be up there. Assists, João Cancelo, 9. With Asensio from Real Madrid on 9 as well. Very nice. Clean sheets, De Gea and Ederson, the two Manchester keepers, tied on 11. Phil Foden with the most yellow cards. And João Cancelo with the most red cards for Man City. So there we go. Manchester City, the first ever winners of the European Super League. These videos will get much better. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe.